MLB offseason is now in full effect, and these Boston Red Sox are wasting no time after a brand new report reveals there is a major signing incoming for this Boston Red Sox team in the bullpen. I'm here to break down all the moving parts on this episode of Red Sox Digest, but first remember, if you're part of the 89% who are not currently subscribed, please scroll down and click the subscribe button. It means the world to us. We do appreciate all the love and support, so thank you guys for all of that. But now let's get to it and break down a returning arm to help this Red Sox bullpen. Now, it's no surprise to anyone who has been following this Boston Red Sox team for any amount of time now. They need help when it comes to the pitching. Whether it be out of the rotation, the starting unit, or coming out of the bullpen, this Boston Red Sox team needs desperate help. There's no way around it. We were god-awful when it came to ERA-based statistics and really just overall performance when it comes to the pitching arms for this Boston Red Sox team. And it seems like we are going to get a returning arm of Chris Martin to return to this Boston Red Sox on a one-year deal. Now, we're going to break down this article titled Red Sox $13.5 million surprise, quote, open to one-year deal to return to Boston. Going on to say, will the Red Sox hurler return to the Boston in 2025? Written by Patrick McCovey just this morning. And again, this is all based around Chris Martin. Now, this article goes on to say, now, the Red Sox have some work to do. Two of the Red Sox biggest bright spots in the bullpen are hitting free agency and Kenley Jansen and Chris Martin. Jansen won't be back after a 2-year stint that he had great performances on the field, but also featured plenty of trade rumors. And again, you guys remember videos ago when we broke down the Kenley Jansen incidents that have been going on with this Boston Red Sox team, and how when the season came to an end, he checked out before the last game of the MLB season, without a doubt. Obviously, the nameplate bit disappearing from his locker room and him not being present for the last 2 games and really just packing his stuff and leaving early did not really sit well with him or as well with this Boston Red Sox organization. And again, when we broke that down, a month and a half ago, it seemed like that bridge had fully burnt, and now we're off in the free agency. He will not be returning to this Boston Red Sox team. And if he does, I would be very, very, very surprised about that. But again, we'll move on through this article as it goes on to say, Martin isn't guaranteed to leave or stay. It's up in the air what he's going to do. But MassLive.com's Christopher Smith said he is, quote, open to a 1-year deal to return to Boston. Going on to quote him and say, there are 9 relievers on the free agent market who posted a WAR of 2.0 or higher in 2024, Smith said. Going on the quote again, the group includes both Kenley Jansen, who had 2.5 WAR, and Chris Martin, who had a 2.4 WAR, who both are free agents after spending the 2023 and 24 season with Boston. Now, if you don't know what WAR is, it's wins above replacement, a very, very effective stat, if you will, if you're a stat nerd and like to understand what is actually going on in the nitty-gritty, breaking down the actual statistics. And we'll finally break down this final quote from this article saying, and I quote, as noted Thursday on Mass Live, there's zero chance Kenley Jansen re-signs, while Martin is open to a return on a 1-year contract. Both Liam Hendricks and Justin Slayton are candidates to replace Jansen as the closer. And that is the end of the quote. Now, few moving parts. Jansen, like we acknowledged earlier, not only in this video, but in videos prior, he probably most likely 99% chance will not be returning to the Boston Red Sox organization for a mix of different reasons. Obviously, we never actually did make a trade when those speculations were flying around this organization, specifically around Kenley Jansen. And then we got to the MLB offseason, and now he's going to be a free agent in this offseason, and because of that, Boston is probably not going to go out and offer him any contract in order to bring him back. But again, Chris Martin seems like he may be a possible suitor for this Boston Red Sox team, just as to add another reliable arm to this bullpen. Again, he's not going to be a starter, but overall, just needing the arms for this Red Sox team is just the biggest hurry. Obviously, right-handed bats are another big thing that we absolutely need to acquire this offseason going into next year. But again, if we had to pick a good arm or a right-handed bat, we are probably going to go with the arm because the pitching was just flat out dreadful this past year. And I have stats to back that up. These are the worst ERAs by bullpen through team to team throughout the entirety of the league. And now you may think, well, Houston, there's only 10 teams listed here, and Boston ranks 7th. Well, no, this is the top team in Colorado was the worst team in the MLB when it came to bullpen ERAs with a ERA of 5.41. Not great. Obviously, playing in Colorado does not help, but then we work our way down. We had Toronto, Chicago, Pittsburgh, Texas, Arizona, and then Boston, then followed by Baltimore, Miami, and Washington. Boston with a 4.39 ERA collectively as a coming from the bullpen, not a great number. Really and truly, it is not a great number. This is filtered from worst at the top, and then it works its way down. Obviously, Cleveland was the number one bullpen this past year, and they made a great run into the playoffs. They just fell short against those damn pinstripe Yankees, who did, thankfully, to all our Red Sox fans, thankfully fell a bit short in the Fall Classic. But again, we need help in the bullpen. There's no way around it. Now, obviously, this is from yesterday 4 or 5 days ago. Now, right-handed pitcher Lucas Giolito today exercised his player option for the 2025 season. So he will be returning. He's exercising that player option. So it is his option if he wants to return or if he wanted to test free agency. He's going to exercise it, and he's going to come back to Boston, which is good. We did get another arm. But again, it's going to be very interesting to see how this Boston Red Sox bullpen and really overall pitching rotation as a whole really pans out and looks going into next season, as again, it could be a very, very tough time for this Red Sox team if we don't go out and acquire the arms that we really, really do require going in the next year after watching what happened last year. Now, these are Martin's stats from month to month from last season. And again, when he was good, he was damn good. There's no way around it. He did have 45 games played last season. Again, these are in relief and closing roles for this Boston Red Sox team, 1 to 2 innings at a time. And again, he was pretty damn good when he was on the bump. But again, there were times when he was out there and things just did not go the way they should have for Chris Martin. Obviously, in April and March, he had 11 games played. He finished one of those games, and he had an ERA in the fives at 5.56. Not great, but then he bounces back in May. He goes 1-0, and he pitches in 10 games. He had a 2.7 ERA. A lot better. Cut that ERA in half from what he started with in April and March. And then we get to June and July. Again, the games played went down significantly as he only had 4 games played in June and 1 game played in July. But again, a 0 ERA, a total of 5 innings between those 2 months. Again, not the overall production we wanted to see from someone in Martin in the sense of how many games we actually got him out there and he was able to pitch for us. But again, when he did go out there in the 5 total innings, I know it's not a lot, he was pretty damn good. But again, then we get to August and another really, really good month. And this time we had a bit more activity from Martin as he played in 11 games. He finished 4 of them, a total of 10 innings pitched. And again, a .90 ERA. Absolutely great stuff from Chris Martin. And then finally, September and October for Mr. Martin was not as good. Honestly, the worst stretch of really a month and a half, if you will, of baseball for him this past season as he ended with a 6.75 ERA in 8 innings pitched. Overall, just not the greatest performance to close out the year. But again, overall, not a bad season for Chris Martin. And again, I think if we are able to bring him back on a 1-year deal, that is really favorable for not only him, but as well as the organization when it comes down to the actual dollar amount. I think this could be a very, very good sign. Whether he is a closer or whether he is a relief guy, I feel like he could be a very significant piece to this Boston Red Sox team for a lot of obvious reasons. Obviously, bringing Martin in would be great because if you look at these names, there's some good ones, there's some really good potential on some of these guys, and then there's just some guys that they're not going to be great for years to go on. So we need some desperate help. There's no way around it. Pitching is the number one thing that we need. Right-handed bats would be 2, in my opinion. Obviously, it could change depending on your opinion on this Boston Red Sox team and what they really need. But again, Chris Martin would be a massive help to this Boston Red Sox organization, and the pitching overall is just so desperately needed. Yes, he's a bit older. He is 38 years of age. He will be 39 here in about half a year in about 6 months. So it's going to be very interesting to see what they end up paying him if he does accept the 1-year contract that Boston seems like they are going to allow him. Overall, a damn good player, a damn good arm. And again, I would love to see the Boston Red Sox be able to acquire someone like Chris Martin for a very reasonable, team-friendly deal that also takes care of the player very well compensated. And again, just being able to bring him back into a great organization in the Red Sox that, again, he already played for. We've seen him play for this Red Sox organization just last season. And again, I think he would look great once again in a Red Sox uniform. So hopefully the Boston Red Sox can get this help in the bullpen and hopefully get things really going this offseason to acquire a bunch of good pieces to really push the needle for this Red Sox organization going into next year. Again, that'll be it for this episode of Red Sox Digest. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys on the next one.